2 years ago, Curt Cignetti left James Madison, went to Indiana, and took half his roster with him. In his first season, he made the college football playoffs, and last year, he won the national championship. This season, there will be a handful of coaches looking to replicate that success, but if there's one guy that has the best chance to do it, it might be Charles Huff with Memphis. Memphis will be at UNLV in week 0. The Rebels will be a 6-point favorite. The total sits at 57.5. And we're going to cover this game as part of our series, covering every game in week 0 and week 1 here on Wager Talk TV. Let's get right into it. Memphis was 8-5 last year. Head coach Ryan Silverfield took the job at Arkansas, and in steps Charles Huff. Will he be Curt Cignetti 2.0, or will he be the dime store version of Curt Cignetti? Both of those options are probably okay. He did win a conference title at Marshall 2 seasons ago. He then took half his roster to Southern Miss. That was a team that was 1-11 the previous season, and they started out with 7 wins in their first 9 games. Now, they did go on to lose their final 4 games of the season, but at that point, it was probably pretty clear that Charles Huff was looking for greener pastures and a better job opportunity. And this is a big opportunity at Memphis, particularly in an American conference that has seen the top dogs leave with conference realignment and some movement with coaches. The top dogs losing head coaches, losing players, North Texas, several of the big coaches, Tulane, all have left their stations, leaving this conference wide open for a guy like Charles Huff to come in with many of his players. In fact, he's got 13 defensive players coming over from Southern Miss. And based on what he did at Marshall 2 seasons ago and what he did last year, I would not bet against him. Now, we don't know who the quarterback will be for this team. They've got a couple options. A guy by the name of Marcus Stokes, who did have playing experience at West Florida in the lower ranks, but at least he was playing last year. And they got a guy named Air Nolan. He's got a pretty cool name. I will give him that. He was on the bench at South Carolina last year, didn't really get any opportunity to play. I would lean toward Marcus Stokes as the starter, but I'm going to be comfortable with either. I think that they've probably got their future quarterback on the roster. I've got a lot of faith in this coaching staff, and Memphis is a program that breeds success. They have the resources. I think they're going to get it done. They're priced at plus 650 to win the conference. And the regular season win total sits at 7.5. Now, we're going to talk about the UNLV Rebels, but before we do, please allow me to tell you about some promotions we have available this football season. And we know, I think tomorrow, NFL preseason games are up. And did you know that I was 100% perfect? I went 6-0 last year in the preseason. I followed that up with a 4-0 showing in week 1. So I won my first 10 NFL bets last season, number 1 at Wager Talk in the preseason. And for a limited time, the great folks at Wager Talk are offering the preseason absolutely free with the purchase of the first month of the NFL regular season. I do have a 5% play up for week 1 of the NFL season posted on my page. So you can grab that right now at $179 on my page at wagertalk.com. Some programming information, some big news that it's official. It has been finalized. We're getting the band back together. Myself, Ross Benjamin, and Sean Higgs. We used to do a show together a couple years back. It was wildly popular, but we kind of parted ways. Well, we're getting back together. We will air our first show a couple days before week 0 starts in college football. And twice a week, we'll have a show for college and a show for the NFL. So you can look forward to that this football season. Speaking of college football, if you're interested in my college football futures, I have a package available on my page, 5 regular season. We had another winning season with college football last year, but it was really the playoffs that we hang our hat on. We did particularly well in the postseason. As you can see, the numbers are right there, 8-2, 80% with college football. And that was not an outlier. You look at the last 5 years, we've done quite well in the postseason with our college football. We've done all right in the regular season too, but the postseason particularly good. Let's get back into the game. Let's talk about the UNLV Rebels. Dan Mullen, first season at UNLV, 10 wins. Got to say it was a successful first season. Now you got Boise State, San Diego State, and Fresno State moving on to the Pac-12. That opens the door for Dan Mullen and the UNLV Rebels to win the Mountain West. They're co-favorites with New Mexico. They're priced at plus 275 to win the Mountain West, and their regular season win total also sits at 7.5. So both these teams with a regular season win total of 7.5. A lot of people think this team is going to make the playoffs. I'm a little bit unsure. They've got the horses. They've got a good team. They were very good last year. You'd think they would be good again this year, but I'm not really sold on Dan Mullen. Is he a good? He may be a good coach. What has he won? The MO for me, when I think back to Dan Mullen at Mississippi State and both his stints at Florida, good offense, exciting team. They score a lot of points. The defense, not so good. And that was the case last year at UNLV. This team ranked 9th in the conference, I believe, and they allowed 6.4 yards per play and 28 points per game. They were 7-0 in games when they scored 35 points. Not so good in games they didn't score 35 points, and it's just not going to be that easy to always score 35 plus points. And certainly against a Charles Huff team, he tends to field a good defense. He's got a bunch of guys that he's familiar with. I'm not sure I want to lay a big number in week 1 with this UNLV team, but the biggest warning sign for me is what are they going to do at the quarterback position? They had a pretty good quarterback last year, Anthony Calandria. He's now moved on to Nebraska. So they bring in a former 5-star recruit, big name, Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold, geez, if he plays like he did at Auburn and Oklahoma, they could be in trouble. But they've got another guy on the roster, Alex Orji. If he plays like he did at Michigan, they're in trouble. So I'm not sold on their quarterback situation. I'm not 100% sold on Dan Mullen as a head coach. I think this is going to be a good team. I think they win 9, maybe 10 games. I'm not sure I want to bet on them to cover numbers. So I'm going to lean towards Memphis plus the points. I'm going to sit and wait this one out, though. I think this one could get to 7 by kickoff. So if you're looking for action in week 0 before kickoff, if you can get a 7, I'll take the points. Otherwise, it could be a pass. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you've got anything to say to me, even if it's nasty, hit me up in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.